And the time is now 6:30 on 6 o'clock on this Thursday morning. And here's what you need to know before you go.
The U.S. has launched a second night of strikes against Iran. Wednesday, the NATO summit wrapped up, and President Donald Trump said the ceasefire is over and he's no longer interested in making a deal with Iran. U.S. Central Command says they are holding Iran accountable for aggression in the Strait of Hormuz.
And a federal appeals court has denied a request from President Trump to pause an order requiring Trump's name be removed from all Kennedy Center related signage. Trump's name was removed from the Kennedy Center facade and website last month following the district's court ruling.
Duluth police have identified the suspect for the shooting in Canal Park on Monday night. The police identified the suspect as 19-year-old Delaney Turnipseed. They do not have a photo of him. The 17-year-old male victim who was shot was taken to the hospital but is expected to recover. Police say the two know each other and were fighting before the shooting.
Another candidate has dropped out of the Wisconsin crowded race for governor. Yesterday, David Crowley ended his campaign, saying he will continue to serve as a Milwaukee County executive instead.
Now, nearly 8,000 cases of a diarrhea-causing parasite have been reported in Michigan. To put that into context, Michigan says it typically logs about 50 cases of cyclosporiasis a year. That illness is caused by a parasite that spreads through contaminated food or water. Investigators are working to nail down the causes, but may be slow going. In the meantime, you should wash and cook your produce thoroughly.
And older adults are invited to celebrate aging with a full day of fun in Proctor. The Golden Ticket is happening Friday, July 10th from 9 to 3 at the Proctor Fairgrounds with free admission. There will be live music, a classic car show, health and wellness booths, bingo, games, and food trucks.
And a heads up for folks before you head out to work. MnDOT is closing the northbound I-35 exit ramp to Highway 194 or Mesaba Avenue and Superior Street for bridge work. That closure is starting at 9 and then lasting until tomorrow morning. MnDOT says if you want to access downtown Duluth to take the exit ramp to 5th Avenue West or Lake Avenue.